Hello everybody and welcome back to Throttle Grotto. There's two hoods up in the garage, so you know it's been a great week. But the focus of today's struggle is the 928. So more fun on the 928. Stay tuned! Alright everyone, I've been really struggling to get the 928 to run correctly. I bought a smoke tester and ran a smoke tester on it and found one of these vacuum lines, this one in particular. You'll notice my crafty, high quality handiwork here. It was leaking, I don't know if I'll get to focus on it, but it was leaking right here at this junction where the plastic tube meets up with the vacuum tube, which was probably a piece of washer tubing that I got from somewhere, and this end wasn't sized correctly. A piece of silicone I harvested from somewhere else, so I got to pay the price for this. But I went to a local repair shop here in town and bought this, which is the old school German braided 3.5 millimeter proper diameter vacuum line. Stuff is not inexpensive. If you need this stuff, it's like $6 a foot, or maybe more. I don't know. This little bundle here was quite a bit of money for what it is, but it's 3.5 mil. Should be the right diameter for the vacuum lines. So I'm going to replace this vacuum line real quick. I'll show you which one it is. It's not user-friendly to get to. So it runs from that nipple on the back, right there on the back of the throttle body, around the back here, over to that T-fitting right there. So that is what I need to replace, and get these giant paws in between all that stuff isn't easy. So I'm going to swap that out real quick, and then we're going to use the smoke tester on it again. I'll show you guys what you need to do for that. Hopefully we don't have any more leaks. All right, well, things are going off the rails quickly, as you might expect with a 928 project. This is the T that was in there, and I've got some older vacuum lines that I'm just going to replace anyway. I'm just going to replace all of these because I have $40 of this fine braided hoses. So now I'm having to go through, and one thing to keep in mind if you're working on some of these old plastic T fittings is it's good just to cut the hose if you're going to try to get it off of there, because you don't want to break these old T fittings. So I'll just come in with a knife. So I'll just come in here with a knife, not cut my finger, just cut the tube, and that releases the pressure on that T fitting, so you can just slide the hose off and replace it. Way better than trying to twist this and breaking it and then having to go find another one somewhere. All right, I got some Rich Rebuilds energy drink here just in case I need to power up for the rest of this job. It's not too bad to do. It's just tight quarters, and if it's one of those things that you didn't do when you're putting the whole car together the first time, then you get to pay the price. All right, so here's where we're at now. I've replaced the line that goes from the fuel pressure regulator, which you can't see, which is underneath the air box, over to this fresh fuel pressure regulator. And I moved the T over here, so if I need to get at it, I don't have to get behind the air box to do it. And then this is all new vacuum line. I did have to use a little bit of the silicone stuff that I have, but with the right size T, it goes on pretty well. Now, we just need to replace all this stuff in here. And then, all right, one of the other issues that I figured out with this car is I have these switches wired backwards. So the double black wire down here should be on the, whoops. Oh, come on, there we go. So the double black wire and the solid white wire should be up here on this switch, and the white striped wire here and the single black should be down on the idle switch down at the bottom. So we're gonna switch those out real quick. Hopefully I've got enough length here. All right. Several expletives later, only several. So I've got that switch wired correctly now, and just for your reference, the solid white and the solid single black goes on the full throttle switch. The double black and the black with whites, or white with black stripe, goes down there on the idle switch. So now that's wired correctly. I'm sure that'll affect things here a little bit. But we've got our vacuum lines replaced. And you can see down in here now, got this nice, maybe you can't see, maybe I can't film it. Oh dear. So there you can see the new four-way junction, the hose that goes over to the throttle body. This one goes back to the splitter here, which runs both the fuel distributors. The one here that goes down to the vacuum diaphragm down in there and in the valley. And then the fourth one comes up here to the front vacuum for the fuel system. So, so the one thing that I will do before I start it this time that I didn't do last time was to put this bolt back in the intake. Can you say enormous vacuum leak? To be fair, I did work a whole bunch of night shifts, like 3 12-hour night shifts prior to doing this a few days ago. So I can't be held responsible for how tired I was. It's the government's fault. There, now there should be no giant vacuum leak, only tiny minor ones if there's any left. All right, let's give this thing a shot. I got the big door cracked open. Make sure it's not in gear so I don't run over my camera. Well, I gotta say, that's the best it's ever started. It's idling right at 900 RPM like it's supposed to. It is the first time it has ever done that, for sure. And don't worry, I do have the door. I do have the door open over there. I'm not trying to kill myself. So let's see here. So we do have a good idle, good oil pressure. Man, this thing's actually running really well right now. All right, so 2 cheers for the smoke machine. Finally, the 928 is running reasonably well. And what a relief. This car has been really stressing me out. trying to get it to play nice with itself and run correctly. So I feel good. This is good. This is awesome that it's finally acting like it's supposed to. All right, so after I shut the camera off, this happened. As you can, hold on, let's see here. So as you can imagine, that was a huge pile of egg on my face and extremely frustrating. And I have a piece of plastic in my hand. Those of you that know these cars will know exactly what this piece of plastic is. Those of you that don't are going to find out real quick. This is the cover to the airflow meter. And I was like, well, I did some hunting around online, and the overall, I guess, hey, you've got surging idle is check your airflow meter. So I pulled the airflow meter out, pulled this plastic cover off to check and see if there's any like deep tracking in the in where the paddle rides. I'm not sure the technical terms of this stuff, but here's what I found. So I'm not getting any Nobel Prizes for being smart anytime soon, but something tells me that this item right here should not be just hanging out in the middle of nowhere. And it shouldn't slap against the against the tang that goes across the top when you spin the airflow meter. Fortunately for me, it was a relatively easy fix. I was able to bend that piece back underneath this tab on the airflow meter, which goes directly to one of these pins. So whatever reading the airflow meter was taking was only making contact when it would swing to here, and then it would slap underneath it and then go past it. So somebody had been in here before. This has all the telltale signs of a tampered airflow meter, the goofy, I don't know, whatever silver sealing this is, the drilled plug here where the CO adjustment is, and the tab that was not lining up with the with one of the main terminals here in the airflow meter. So I shot a little deoxit in here and inside the plug here and cleaned that all up. And if you're curious about how this works, it's just basically the air comes in, presses this barn door open, and these are called barn door airflow meters, and lets air through to the engine. So there's nothing really majorly scientific about it. It just, as this terminal here passes over this black sawtooth looking track, it changes resistance readings and sends different readings to the engine or ECM. So apparently you can tweak these by moving the spring and adjusting how much tension is on the barn door to give it a little more snappiness. We're not doing that right now. So I'm going to put this back together, put it in the car, and see what happens. It's like seriously the best cold start ever for this car. Okay, so that is all for today. It's been a long day here in the garage. I'm tired. I've been working night shifts. I I need to rest. So, but huge improvements on the 928 today. Super glad I found that airflow meter boggle that happened. What might have happened is someone may have tried to like smack it in with a hammer and dislodge that little curlicue thing out from underneath the bridge thing that goes over the top. I don't know. All I know is that it's put back together and it does run better. Still not perfect, but huge improvements today. So hopefully, hopefully I can get out and drive this thing a little bit and put some miles on it. So that is all for today. And until next time, get out there and work on something.